Good day, brothers and sisters. I know it's been a while since I've done a blended words, but I was in a chat with somebody and they were telling me about Ecclesiastes. I think I'm saying that correctly. I do not know. Well, what we're going to do here is we're going to explain we're going to cover exactly every question that this book has to offer. The number one question is, who is the preacher? Now, the preacher is translated to teacher. It could also be translated to the master. So, who's the preacher? Who's the master? Who do we know as the master? Who's the teacher? Christ. So, that is who's talking to you. Christ is who is talking to you here. And on top of that, the next question that everybody gets confused is, who is the teacher talking to? Okay. Well, brothers and sisters, as you can see in my Bible, words blend through. Okay. And as I've been reading and more, I haven't really found much hidden messages. That's why you haven't been seeing many videos of it. I was able to do Genesis and Revelations and all that, and then Luke and getting into all that. But it just kind of stopped. It just looked like this. There's nothing to be seen. But I'm having a conversation and somebody tells me, starts talking about Ecclesiastes. So I was Ecclesiastes. I'm not saying that correctly, I don't think. So I come here to read it, and long behold, I start finding words. You see how perfectly those words are? Those are the words that I take from blended words. I take the words I see seeping through the page. Like right here, you could really see that. It's really good. See how that's blah, 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 how that's all right there? So I wouldn't use that. I'm sure there's a code in there, but I don't use that. I use what we can straight up see. And it led me to see that who this is talking to a woman, a wife. And I found that kind of crazy because it's exactly what I'm going through in my relationship is I'm trying to find peace and happiness, and I do everything for our God, for my Father. Sorry, I don't like saying our God. I like saying my Father. It just feels comfortable, and I do it all for Him, and I'm having a lot of sorrow. I'm having a lot of issues, and this clearly sits here and says right here, for much wisdom is much grief, and he that increases knowledge increases sorrow. Okay. That is true. But let's get into the blended words. I'll go ahead and this book isn't that long. You see, that's the end of the book. It's pretty fast. So, what did I find in all these words? Again, we do the page number. To obey his mother and the ravens of, to obey his mother, the ravens of vanity, pick it out, and the young eagles, way of man, with an oath, and said, to not bear for a woman when she is married, and a handmaid that is heir to the mistress. There are four things while our little union, while our in little union. And it talks about the earth being exceedingly wise. The ants are of the people, not strong yet, but they prepare meat in the summer, who counts out the people folk, yet make their own mouses in the rocks. Let's see, locusts have no kings, yet go forth and are then by them by bands, as I say this in my music a lot, bands. It's a people, it's a group. Okay, and gain in kings palaces. It's supposed to say gain. I kind of messed it up. So is what this is saying here is that to obey, it's talking about the woman. It's talking about the wife and how, I mean, you can already hear because it's talking about the mother. I mean, this book talks about vanity pretty much. Straight up vanity. Everything is vanity. It says it over and over and over and over and over again. Everything is vanity. So then we go to the right side of the page where it says, and you're sitting here wondering, it says, oh, well, you said there are four things, right? Yeah, there are four things, right? It talks about the earth being exceedingly wise, the ants are the people not strong, and then it talks about how the mouses move in the rocks, and then let's see, the locusts, right? The locusts are like, or that be traveling in bands, even though they have no kings, they still dwell in palaces as if they were, every one of them, and they travel in bands. So yeah, there was four, so the blended words didn't lie. Blended words never do. So what, and then it goes, what the son of my vows? Him that is ready to, what is the son of my vows? Him that is ready to. Let him drink and forget his poverty and remember his misery no more. Open they Abba in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. Plead the case of the poor and needy who can find a woman, virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trust. In her that be shall have no need of sport. She will to him good and not evil all their days of marriage. Like a merchant ship, she brings while it is yet night and are yearned. Does that make sense? It should have made sense. It makes sense to me. Abba is the creator, just to let you know. If you want to actually put a name to my father, Abba would be it, I suppose. And then right at the end, so after page 334, this is page 335, 334, 335. It's the beginning. You'll literally go through here, and there isn't no blended words at all. Nothing. Just this. And I suggest you go read this, especially for women and married women. And what I love about this, brothers and sisters, is check this out. There's one encrypted message at the end. And it reads, by night in my bed I sought him who my soul lost, but now I found. So it's not just talking to married women. It's talking to single women also, because you have to understand there's a lot of women out here that can't go to sleep, that can't go to bed without their man or without something, an animal, a pet. I mean, that's vanity. All right. So when you're laying in your bed and you're all alone, you sought him whom my soul is lost, but now I found. If you look into Christ, the teacher who's talking to you, the teacher, the master, Christ, how he's talking to you, if you're listening, you're not alone. It's not just you. You are not alone. You are together. And then there was you're together with Christ. You have the Spirit. You'll always be fine. And there's billions of them, dude. They're everywhere. So then there's a couple women. A couple women. I'm sorry, I was reading that. There's a couple verses. Better is the sight of the eye than wondering of the desire, right? There's a couple verses up in there that I found extremely, couple verses I found that are extremely useful. Like I said, those two right there that I gave you. Chapter 1, verse 18. For much wisdom is much grief, and he that increases in knowledge increases in sorrow. And better is the sight of the eye than wondering of the desire, because it all starts in the mind, brothers and sisters. It all starts in the mind. Even if only one with Christ, you make two. We are never alone. And then there was another verse in here. Another one that I really liked because it explains something right here. Chapter 10, verse 20, brothers and sisters. Curse not the king, no, not in thy thought. So don't be cursing people in your head, all right? Up in your head, you cursing them, right? You talking shit about people in your head. You talking about people in your head, right? Right? I thought, for a bird of the air shall carry the voice, and which has wings shall tell the matter. This is how I know. I guess you can't read that, but what people say and think about me, it's the spirit. Like an insane person who hears voices to tell them to do, to hurt others or themselves. See, the voices I talk about lead me to teach. They lead me to do right, to truth.